It's 1968. A young couple moves into a beautiful old New York apartment building, and the neighbours are friendly, maybe too friendly. Strange noises drift through the walls, a woman falls to her death, and soon Rosemary Woodhouse begins to suspect that her pregnancy might not be as ordinary as it seems. Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby just isn't a horror film, it's a modern gothic masterpiece. Adapted from Ira Levin's best-selling novel, which stars Mia Farrow, John Cassavetes and the wonderful Ruth Gordon, who won an Oscar for her performance. On the surface, it's the story of a couple starting a family, but underneath the wallpaper lies something far more sinister. It's a film about paranoia, control and the loss of trust in the people closest to you. Surely the stuff of everyone's nightmares. Tanis, anyone? Welcome to Wookie Video Presents, the channel that loves nothing more than exploring vintage horror and classic science fiction movies. I'm Craig and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we're diving deep into Roman Polanski's utterly mesmerising movie Rosemary's Baby, and I'll be sharing 5 reasons why it remains the top tier of the greatest horror films ever made. Now if you still haven't seen Rosemary's Baby, do promise me you will stop this video and watch it as soon as you possibly can, because this is essential viewing. For everyone else, grab your chocolate mousse, dim the lights and let's wander in the dark halls of the Bramford. Reason 5. New York Gothic. Before Rosemary's Baby, horror lived mostly in castles, graveyards and fog-covered moors, but Polanski did something completely new. He brought the Gothic into the modern age. Flower power was in full bloom and the film was shot at New York's real-life Dakota building, renamed the Bramford for the movie. With its ornate architecture and heavy brooding atmosphere, it looks like it could swallow you whole, and it's the perfect blend of old-world evil and mid-century realism. The brilliance of Roman Polanski's setting is how ordinary it all seems. Evil doesn't lurk in a dungeon, it's next door, politely offering you a slice of cake. The walls are thin, the neighbours are nosy, and everyone hides a secret. It was horror meeting modern urban life for the first time. No vampires or werewolves, just a creeping suspicion that the people around you just aren't what they seem. It was also released the same year as Romero's Night of the Living Dead and paved the way for psychological horror in everyday settings, influencing other classics such as The Exorcist, Don't Look Now and even modern thrillers like Black Swan. Reason 4. The colour of fear. Next up, let's talk about colour, because Rosemary's Baby doesn't look like a horror film. In fact, it looks pretty cheerful. Polanski and cinematographer William A. Fraker use soft pastel tones, yellows, creams and pale pinks. Early on, everything looks warm and safe, but as Rosemary's anxiety grows, these colours start to feel suffocating. The golden light becomes sickly and the pinks look like flesh. You slowly start to realise that the film is turning on you visually, and what started as comfort becomes claustrophobia. It's horror disguised as a domestic drama. Polanski called it a nightmare in daylight, and he was right. It's proof that you don't need darkness to make something terrifying, just a perfectly chosen shade of beige. Reason number 3. Rosemary's box office birth. Now let's talk about how Rosemary's Baby didn't just scare people, it changed cinema. The film is a cultural earthquake. It kicked off the satanic horror boom of the 1970s. After Rosemary's Baby, audiences developed a full-blown appetite for the devil himself. Without it, there's no Exorcist, no Omen, no Amityville. The devil became a box office icon. The late 1960s and early 70s were obsessed with the occult. Time magazine ran the headline, "Is God Dead?" Ouija boards were flying off the shelf, and Rosemary's Baby tapped into that fear perfectly. The idea that evil could look respectable, dress well and live right next door. It was the dawn of the modern horror realism, and the supernatural had moved into the everyday. Reason number 2, Mamma Mia. Now let's talk about the heart of the film. Let's talk about Mia Farrow. She's ethereal, she's fragile, she's utterly mesmerising. Her performance as Rosemary is one of the greatest in horror history. At first she's all innocence, bright-eyed, softly spoken, a young 1960s woman making a home. She bakes, she decorates like many dutiful wives were expected to do back in that era. But slowly Farrow peels away the layers until she sees what lies beneath. This isn't the screaming over-the-top horror we're used to, it's a quiet dread. The horror of thinking you are quietly going insane. The horror of isolation, the horror of being gaslit by the people you love, of being dismissed by doctors, ignored by your husband, and trapped by the expectations of the time. Mia's performance is painfully real. You can feel her fear, her confusion, her growing resolve to fight back against something which is much bigger than her. It's something which is hidden in plain sight, and something hideous. But behind the scenes, things were just as dramatic. Her then husband, Frank Sinatra, was furious that she took the role instead of starring in his film The Detective, and he literally served her divorce papers on set. Polanski meanwhile pushed her hard, asking her to lose weight, making her look fragile and translucent. Critics predicted that she'd win a Best Actress Oscar, and it was criminal that she didn't. That went to Barbra Streisand and Katharine Hepburn, but history has made up for it. Today her performance is truly iconic and considered one of the defining performances of the genre. Mia Farrow gave us something unique, a horror heroine who was a fighter and a survivor. Now a lot of people see Rosemary as a victim. I strongly disagree because Rosemary wasn't aware of anything that was going on. But when she did find out, she stands up to fight and let the world know. With the trappings of the era, there was only so much that she could do, and I'm not even sure why being a victim is so frowned upon. I mean, Rosemary didn't deserve this treatment, and the audience, including me, are rooting for her during the entire movie. Alright, before we hit the number 1 reason, let's take a wee break and hear a few did you know facts that make this film even more fascinating, along with my glamorous co-host Alona Darke, who's been hosting a few of my short videos lately. Alona may be AI, but she certainly knows her stuff. Take it away, Alona!
Thanks, Wookie Craig. Here is a few amazing facts about this amazing classic. Did you know Rosemary's Baby is one of the most faithful book-to-film adaptations ever? Author Ira Levin said Polanski used entire pages of dialogue straight from the novel. Did you know the film's haunting lullaby was sung by Mia Farrow herself? The melody, by Polish composer Krzysztof Komeda, became one of horror cinema's most chilling pieces of music, and tragically, it was his final composition before his death the following year. Did you know Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, was rumored to have played the devil in the dream sequence? It's never been confirmed, but the rumor alone made the film even more infamous. Did you know Ruth Gordon, who wonderfully played the eccentric Minnie Castevet, was 72 years old and thought her career was over? She won an Academy Award for the role, and what a role it was. Did you know the Dakota Building later became infamous when John Lennon was shot outside its entrance in 1980? Fans still visit the site every year, eerie considering the film's legacy. And here's a glamorous one. Mia Farrow's iconic pixie haircut was done by celebrity stylist Vidal Sassoon for a publicity stunt that cost $5,000. Polanski hated it, Paramount loved it, and it became one of the most famous haircuts of all time. And finally, did you know this was Roman Polanski's first American film? It made him a household name, but tragedy struck the next year when his wife Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family. Many people have called Rosemary's Baby cursed ever since. Honestly, I can go on forever with this captivating classic. but I'll keep mum for now and deliver you back to our main host, who will give you the number one reason why we all think Rosemary's Baby is one of the very best.
Oh, thanks for that fascinating deep dive, Alona. Now, before we move on, you can help Wookie out by giving this video a like, clicking the subscribe button if you enjoy this, and sharing with your friends. It costs nothing and it helps to keep this channel growing and ensures that I can keep bringing you more vintage classic reviews like this. Alright, are you ready for the number one reason? Okay, here we go. Let's deliver this baby. Reason number one. It is the greatest slow burn horror movie ever made. Rosemary's Baby doesn't rush. It takes its time. Every moment something feels slightly off, slightly wrong, but we never have enough information to prove it. And that is the pure genius. We see everything through Rosemary's eyes, but no one believes her. We don't even know if we believe her. The fear grows from uncertainty, not shock. Polanski brings tension with surgical precision, long takes, ordinary conversations, and the slow creeping realization that the impossible might be happening right under our noses. And by the time the truth hits, it is devastating. And that ending, without spoiling it, it manages to be horrifyingly tragic and strangely tender all at once. In the book, that story continues beyond that final revelation. But Polanski stops right there at the exact moment that leaves your stomach in knots. But it works out for the better. To me, it showed that the true power of horror lies within patience. The film doesn't chase you, it waits for you to realise what has been happening all along. And with repeat viewings, you just see all of the diabolical scheming was happening right under our noses too. I mean, it's the gold standard of psychological horror. Alright, it's time for the Wookie scorecard. For plot, it's a 5 out of 5. Rosemary's Baby is taut, perfectly paced and devastating. Quality, it's 5 out of 5 again. Every frame is crafted with precision. For acting, you guessed it, it's 5 out of 5 again. Iconic Mia Farrow, Oscar-winning Ruth Gordon and John Cassavetes at their finest. Special effects is a 4 out of 5 because there's barely any special effects, but the imagination does all the work. The decision not to show the baby is genius. And rewatchability, it's a 5 out of 5. Like I said, every viewing reveals new clues that you missed before. It just gets better every time. That's a devilishly good 24 out of 25 on the Wookie scale. So I believe Rosemary's Baby is the greatest slow burn horror ever made. It whispers instead of screams, and somehow that whisper is still echoing almost 60 years later. And for the record, The Exorcist, which followed a mere 5 years later, is a truly harrowing masterpiece of cinema and remains my ultimate favourite, but Rosemary's Baby is also up there, there's no doubt about it. So what do you think? Have I got it all right? Or have I got it all wrong? Drop your comments down below and keep the debate going. Did you see the TV remake? Or did you see the woeful 70s sequel? Or what about the recent okayish sequel, Apartment 7A? So Alona, anything from you before we wrap?
Sure. While you are at it, tell us what classic horror or sci-fi film you'd like us to cover next. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps this little channel grow. I'm Alona Darke.
And I'm Craig, and this is Wookie Video Presents. And before we go, just a warning. If your neighbour knocks tonight with some food on offer, just make sure it isn't a chocolate mousse. See ya.